Welcome everyone to CDO Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President of Sandhill Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working on behalf of the CDO Magazine. So welcome, Katie. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you for having us.
So far, everything's great. You guys have made the investment. You're working through it. You're getting turnaround, things like that. Let me ask you, have you talked about some stumbles you made along the way, but what are some of the challenges that you've kind of seen from your point of view? Was it the fact that you're so big, or what? Or just give us some sense of some challenges that I can't believe that it's all been roses and sweet perfume.
No, I told Zach early on when he asked me what I was working on, I'm like, I am nation building. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I'm trying to find the people I need as things are coming up so I get with the right people to get things solved quickly. And that is something I feel like I will be doing for years because there's so many wonderful people at Navy Federal. Like, kudos to our recruitment team and the hiring managers, that there's so many people with diverse backgrounds that can add from so much value from all these different industries that I feel like I meet a new friend every day, that I'm like, ooh, and I have this big list of contacts that I call about various things because my role is so diverse. I get to be involved in a lot of different types of data, discussions. And I may not have all of the expertise in something, and I can ask one of my new contacts, what is your experience around this and this? And then I often have, more things I can learn and read and educate myself on further so we can make better and better decisions.
I love that idea, the fact that, and I've heard it before, the term nation building, but I don't think it's talked enough about. So I think there's a whole topical presentation on that nation building. But just moving on, because I'm aware of the time here. I want to make sure we get some time with Zach as well. But how do you balance the need between providing data accessibility for the various groups that you serve and the privacy in your data governance? How do you balance that out?
This is something that is often discussed in this field, and especially with our members being military members and their families, we take this to another level of, we put best practices in place and strive to do that in everything we do. And we also want to meet their needs. So we balance data accessibility and privacy I have an incredible team that set up a process, again, that I was lucky and got to walk into and take over once I started, that I partner with people from various areas of our IT department for every type of data request we have, internal or external. And I think of it kind of like the Avengers Unite moment, where I bring together all of these great perspectives, and it's the standard process where we talk through these different applications. And this is also where we bring in different types of IT people to really do robust risk assessments. And I'll tell you, there are multiple layers of risk assessments around every data movement. So we don't provide any detail that we don't have to, especially around sensitive information. We are always trying to follow the zero trust principle. So we're able to meet business needs by being creative at times and aggregating information or using special types of masking encryption, and able to still get that data need met so we can do business and keep moving forward. But we have protected our members and our employees.
The whole process, nation building. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I was good. Yeah, I think, and I'll put a cheat code in. I mean, if you can set your infrastructure up in a way where you don't have to sacrifice either of those two things, that if you create a flexible environment, I can actually give you the data for a short period of time, and it's not hard for me to have automated things that'll say it revokes your permissions when this project's over.
You guys are well on the way. Just in the last couple of minutes, I've got two questions, and Zach, I don't know whether this one's for you or whether you want to have Katie answer, but how do you engage with stakeholders to promote data literacy across the organization? You already mentioned that people have already sort of taken some data literacy courses. Is that something that, you find, hey, we're already there, we've done this, or no, there's still pockets out there, we still need to do that?
Yeah, no. Yeah, because data governance is hard. Like, I mean, it's very like you've got to be able to have that object-oriented programming kind of mindset where you
Yeah.
can think of something as an abstract object that has attributes that inherit from things. Like you have to have that, and not everybody has that. Like it's a very difficult thing, and so and so you're going to encounter. That was one of the. I mean, that's the challenges of scaling is you're always going to get, and it's not a knock against anybody. Like that's just some people's brains are wired that way and others aren't, and it's really hard for people to wrap their head around some of the concepts. Katie did a fantastic presentation a couple months ago where she was using the analogy of food and the grocery store around metadata and how so we could explain to an HR audience like what are we talking about, what's this good for, and it's like, hey,
Yes.
when you go to your pantry, and guess what? You're not pulling off 3 things of expired, bottles of, the taco sauce that you wanted. You're like, oh, dang it, I wanted tacos tonight. But I kept going there, and then I went to the store and I forgot that I also was going to eat some, and it's like when you've organized your information, you've categorized it, and you've labeled it, it just makes your life easier, and so I think and be able to share with them with real life examples of you do governance, you do metadata management, you just don't realize that's what it is, and so
well, I think we're actually we're bringing the lexicon of metadata management into the forefront now. It's not a secret word. It's not one of those words that go, huh? What is that? So that's great. Last question, and again, I'll open it up for both Katie and Zach, because the knowledge you guys have got is just fantastic. Any suggestions for how you might suggest an organization sort of sets the measure to deliver values on the data initiatives? Like, what would you look to? What measurements would you suggest that would help derive value for the initiatives that you've been delivering, that you suggest to organizations?
So I recommend focusing on data initiatives that result in actionable information, because actionable information can be measured. That's kind of key to finding really good measures. And depending on what it is, you'll be able to tie it to a financial, or you'll be able to tie it to an efficiency initiative. That is really key, especially starting out. And that, again, starts that snowball effect of after you get enough of those use cases and business cases and partnering with people, your reputation around that also builds, and more people want to work with you and get help on things they're working on. So I think that is really a great way to find, here are the ways that we can help increase revenue from a data perspective, or we can help create more efficiency so we can focus on the things that matter and set aside kind of the processes that are not adding value, where we can use our great people and their expertise to better serve our members.
I think that something that's coming up that says, automation, you've actually taken automation to the next level, but it's not a bad thing because it's allowed you to do more and serve your members better, in how you run the report. So the reporting, as you said, Zach, is key. The more you can automate, the better it is that you can do more things to service your members, which sometimes a lot of organizations don't see. Am I right in that process, Zach?
Yeah, and I think that's, we call it our mission data initiative, and so it's been around, getting all the member information so that the data scientists can do their things, so that the AI and ML. But if you don't have the foundation, you're going to have either bad, predictions based on, and so the things everybody wants. I think I think the biggest thing you can do is make sure to help people understand the connection between the underlying data management and the thing that they want, because everybody wants AI, ML, and all those kind of things. They want to be able to say that we've got all these things, but if you don't have the foundational things, and it's just an R script sitting on somebody's laptop, and you hope that person doesn't run away with the code
data,
and give it away
code,
when they leave the company, and B, that it's not operationalized because, hey, you got this great talent and this great data and this great product potentially, but you don't have the infrastructure to be able to embed it safely and securely in a scalable way, that you can't leverage the great technologies that are becoming so much more accessible. AI and ML's never been more accessible. I mean, they've got great tools that are, I mean, honestly, like manager friendly, auto ML type things that, like, everybody loves that. But if you don't have the data infrastructure, if you don't have the way to capitalize on those technologies, you've got to have that foundation. I mean, it goes down to, if you don't have the foundation of the data infrastructure and the whole, which comes with governance and security and controls and all that, like, you're not going to be able to you're going to be behind in the things that they want, and so I think making that connection, I think, would probably be my biggest, suggestion to somebody trying to, and we're not there. We've still got plenty of places to go and plenty of things to do that we want to do. But I think that's one of the things that we've been fortunate to have senior leadership that's really understood that connection.
I got to tell you, Zach and Katie, first of all, thank you for your time today. You say you're not there yet, but boy, you're ahead of a lot of organizations. You've got a great management team. You've got a great infrastructure. You've got users that are way ahead of where, a lot of other users generally are going to be. You've got management looking to you as a positive influence rather than negative influence. And, we could go on and on and on for ages about how you've actually achieved this. We've really just tipped the top of the iceberg here. And I appreciate you, Katie and Zach, sharing your time today with us on these topics. There's certainly a lot more to dig into. I hope we get a chance to come back and share your knowledge and insights and just hear what a phenomenal job that you're doing. So on behalf of the CDO Magazine, I'd like to thank you both for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.